Episode 1 just rolling along like I've been doing it for years. And my next guest, well, he's a good friend of On the Grill. Hopefully, he'll remain a good friend for Mixed Grill. He's definitely one of my best mates and one of the finest products we've ever seen in Black Diamond Cup competition. No stranger to most all around the region is Pete Van Dam. Peter, how are you, my mate?
Good, bro. Thanks for having me, Corey. Congrats trying to get something else, some more content off the ground. The league can always
Mate, I
use
love
any
how
sort of
if we
boost in a
weren't doing it
profile
now,
that
we probably
we can get out there.
yeah, mate. That's
Yeah,
what
no,
it's all
so
about. If you
get
notice a little, sorry, buddy, go.
no, I'm just saying. I think it's a great initiative to try and get some content out there, try and highlight the rights and wrongs in the league, and thanks for getting me onto the first potty, mate. Well done.
Oh, mate, you're one of my best mates. But we like a gas bag, and we seem to think when we chat over a beer or two that what we have to say is important enough. So we may as well test a wider audience, I reckon. But mate, with this
Yeah.
podcast. This podcast, I'm the host, but I'm also basically my boss. I'm the producer, and for the most part, I think I'm pretty much the only client too, because I don't know how many people actually listen to me, which means the podcast will probably last a while because I can't get fired, and no one's going to get sick. My biggest fan's not going to get sick of me.
You do love the sound of your own voice,
Hey,
mate.
mate,
So yeah, I'm sure you'll get a few episodes out.
love it. Yeah, it doesn't matter if no one's listening or there's nothing to say. I'll still find a way to talk to people. But, mate, speaking of talking, let's get right into it. Mate, you've been around the league forever. You're still involved in some capacity at your beloved club, Terrigal Avoca, obviously my beloved club as well. Mate, what are you doing in footy these days? Because there's all sorts of stuff keeping Pete Van Dam busy around the place. Where's your involvement with footy these days?
Mate, just purely at a juniors level at the moment. Lucky enough to to be able to catch up with Bishy. On a Sunday again. Our son's playing the same side, so Bish and I have taken the reins of the under tens at Terrigal Avoca, and
Yep.
we've got some super talented kids there. So it's good to be involved with kids footy again, and see another
Yep.
round of or generation of young Panthers come through.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough to have a lot of involvement with a crop of Premier League players coming around with, Alec Walters and guys like that. Chris Murray had, just a great time coaching and developing young kids in the past throughout the coast. So it's good to go for another
It
round, start at the
must,
bottom and sort of work through.
mate, as your heart and soul, Terrigal Avoca Panthers, mate, you bleed red, white, and black. It must be thrilling after now that your career's well, we believe it's over. You're rivaling John Farnham for
It's over,
comeback
mate.
so
It's
far,
over.
but
It's over. Yeah, no, I enjoy watching it on the
mate, what?
sideline. Some of the players on the field probably don't enjoy me being on the sideline, but I went out there last weekend and watched the Panthers game against Warners Bay, and both men's and women's. There's so much talent out there. I'm happy to just sit back and my body's pretty beat these days. So enjoy watching the young
Yep.
kids. It's a very fast game to what it used to be, and I definitely don't miss chasing ass all game. That's for sure.
So your body's beat, mate, but how about your face? Because I can only see your eyebrows at the moment. Can you tilt your camera down a touch? Let's see your handsome.
Oh,
There, that's better, mate. Let's see that handsome mug of yours.
yeah.
But
Oh,
I
it's
don't know if
terrible. I
it's.
don't want
I
to get
didn't
too
know if it was
close.
actually you speaking or not.
Yeah.
Mate, what I wanted to ask is, what sort of joy does it give you seeing those young juniors now, 1 and 2 and 3-time premiership winning players there at Terrigal Avoca, and still a great crop coming through again this year? And in reference to your own playing days when there was the highs of a number of premiership wins yourself, and also what about when you see Warners Bay? There's improvement. You mentioned a minute ago. They brought a side up to Hilton Moor last week, which were very competitive with Terrigal for the most part of the day. A couple of the big stars
Mhm.
out. Is it thrilling for you to see that kind of movement, not just at your own club, but the rise of clubs that were rivals of yours in your playing days?
Well, definitely, and it's great to see juniors coming through because that's what keeps our comp going. At the end of the day, is we're not an AFL region, so we need to develop juniors, and we get a lot of guys playing multiple codes from a young age. So once they realise the level of athleticism that it takes to play AFL, that's what sort of wins you over in the end. So
Yep.
it is difficult to keep kids in the sport, but we need to keep developing juniors. Otherwise, we're just not a strong enough region of football wise to bring guys in consistently from year to year.
Yep.
We just can't get that turnover.
Yeah. We sort of got to rely to have a certain percentage of players, especially in the upper junior levels, to find their way over to the code and recognise that it is the greatest game in the world. And more often than not, once they turn to it, they don't go back. And if they do, it's always fleetingly, because it really is a great product. And I guess it makes what us who are well and truly over with our playing days, makes it more important for us to have a good guiding influence, I guess, to make sure that the game stays great in our specific regions in particular. So, is that a viewpoint that you share there, Pete, with what you can continue to contribute to the game?
Oh, definitely. I think if you get some good role models from a young age group, you can the proof's there. You look at the Isaacs and Lloydies and Max Kings and guys like that. They've made it from the league, but they could have easily gone to other codes. But
Mm.
not for good guidance from those around the football clubs that they've been involved in. There's others as well. Is it Paul Smith from Warners Bay? There's multiple guys that have
Yep.
made it from the region now just by having engaged coaches from a young age help develop them. And now I think when I first came to the region, I've grown up in the region, but came to AFL. Yeah, the majority of the coaches in the junior system were all from other codes and had no knowledge of AFL. So it was really hard to
Yeah.
to
Yep.
to gain knowledge from those trying to teach you. Now you
Yeah.
go to the junior clubs, and 90% of the coaches through all grades have a extensive background in AFL, which can only benefit our league. And
Yep.
you look at the women's league and some of the women's coaches and stuff like that are coming to the league now. It's a
Yeah.
great thing to
Well,
see, but it just
Terrigal's
needs to
got
keep
one.
building. You can never get content. Yes, yes,
No,
she does. I
absolutely
haven't
not.
had the chance to meet her yet, but the girls I have. I watched the practice match and I watched the last half of the game on the weekend, and they've been outstanding. Just the way that they start to move the football
Yeah, mate,
laterally
they have.
instead of it's the development of the women's game. I know we're going on a few different tangents, but the development of the women's game from 6-7 years ago, it has come so far, and it's great to see. Bringing numbers and eyeballs to the game
Yeah,
from
it certainly
anywhere can
has.
only be a positive.
Yeah, it certainly has. In our league in particular, in our Women's Cup, there's been a big divide between the top three clubs and the next level of clubs coming up through them. So, securing people of Jodie Hicks's pedigree in professional football is just a massive boon for the area, and Terry would have done very well. And the proof's in the pudding already. There's been leaps and bounds from that round one match and then their result last week. They're prime movers. They'll be the next. They'll be the fourth side that moves into that top tier of women's competition. So great to see that
Yeah,
moving in the right direction for the women's game. Without getting too off track, Pete, I did get you on with a specific purpose, mate. I won't lie. You're the league's most capped representative player with, I think, 11 or 12 appearances. Am I right in saying that? Or did I add a few on
Oh,
for you?
yeah, the numbers are irrelevant, but yeah, I've played a few games of football.
Yeah, not to me, mate. Not
Yeah.
to me, whose number is zero. So to be good friends with someone who's done it more times than anyone else is a bragging right for me. So I'm going to hang on to it. But that last 2 years ago, you're the most recent inductee in the life membership for the league, which for any way you look at it is still a prestigious honour, because I don't think we've only had one in nearly 10 years or something. So whether that you're one amongst a special bunch there, mate, what you can contribute to the league is still massive. And I'm a big believer that guys who've made big inroads or have made an impact, have been vibrant, successful, high achievers in the league, whatever they can contribute back in the latter years is really important. So a little bit of me getting you on the show is also trying to make sure that we secure the wealth of knowledge and wisdom and experience that you have You're known as an outspoken player out on the field, colourful and, if not controversial at times. It certainly didn't diminish your achievements. Mate, are there things that you feel can change in the league at the moment? Is there areas where you specifically would like to go into, and try and help out? Or are you happy with the way things are moving along in local footy?
Different codes throughout Australia. There's lots of different problems and reasons to improve, but I think that definitely from my playing days, the rep scene was something that I really enjoyed, and the guys that got around it. I was saying earlier, and something that I need to probably bring to the league's attention is that 20 years ago, we took a team down to the Riverina to the country championships, which we no longer participate in, and not expecting to win a game, we won the whole tournament. So, which was sort
Yep.
of a feat that, as we said, it's we enjoyed the weekend and thought a lot of it at the time, but now that the rep system is not the same and that program's non-existent, it really stands the
Yeah.
the test of time, and that's coming up to 20 years this year. So we'll have to have a few discussions about trying to have a
Yeah.
reunion for the old boys that took part on that day, because we celebrated long and hard, and there's some great stories from that weekend. For those that don't know, we were
Mate,
down by 30 points, hadn't kicked a goal at half time, and Mick Ryan kicked a goal after the siren from, well, I'd say outside 50 to seal it for us. So one of the all-time great,
Yeah.
great victories and celebrations that followed. So great times.
Mate, nothing shy of mythical as far as local football history goes, and without doubt, they were the halcyon days, I believe, of Black Diamond football. A lot of people might argue that it's as good as now as what it was back then, but certainly when you're looking at rep standard comparos, it's nowhere near it. Even just the actual sense of pride and commitment and contribution of the players back then. You mentioned Mick Ryan, and we talk famous names like the Knights up in Newcastle City and
Morris
Corey Shackleton,
Goolagong,
those
yeah,
type
yeah.
of yeah. Who's he? Who's
Dave
who's that?
Grimman. Morris Goolagong, Dave
Did
Grimman,
you say Morris
some of the
Goolagong?
older
Oh,
generation.
yes. Sorry,
Morris Goolagong was out
I
there.
am familiar
Yep.
with that.
Yeah,
Of course, mate, and that list goes on. Names
Clean
that
Osterbury, Angus
are in
Darling,
like
mate, is an amazing side.
and players like myself would just be in awe of those standard that level of standard of players. And I don't know if that sort of happens as you go down the rungs of the tiers of players these days. But certainly, I called the last couple of representative matches, and it was good to see a return to men's representative football. But it's a long way away from where it could be and where it should be. Do you reckon there's a role for people like you and Mick Ryans and stuff like that to come in and teach a little bit of league pride or be involved? I know I've asked you this before in personal conversations about even coaching the rep, but I just feel like there's so much that you fellas, you could contribute. Players like me were in awe of you guys back then. To come back and be able to maybe teach a bit of league pride or regional pride, or how to really get the most out of representative football, I think could be really beneficial.
Oh, I think that if you can get any of the older generation to get back in and get around the league, it's at whatever level, whether it be club representative, it's always that's what we need. It's because it's not like most of those bush footy leagues where the people don't leave the town; they're always there. They're always the footy clubs,
Yeah,
their
that's right.
life. With our area having that coastal demographic, like people have different lifestyles. Once footy's over, everyone goes. So the more of
Yeah.
the older generation that can hang around and give back to the league, it can only benefit it
Yep.
from us. So
Yep.
I know that definitely
Yeah, 100%.
there's a lot of that generation now that their kids are starting to come through. So they're starting to get
Right.
involved with pathways programs and talent. Like I know that Courtney and Bish have been doing the Swans Academy for a long time. I was involved. I think Dave Flynn's involved up in the Newcastle system,
Yep.
and those guys, the knowledge that they have to pass on. I say to my son all the time, like yes, I might sound like I'm nagging, but I wish that someone was trying to make the game easier for me by passing on this knowledge, because it wasn't available for us.
Yeah.
We sort of
Oh, well, that's the only
went through
reason
it
I
and sort of
wasn't a
had to
great footballer.
navigate it ourselves.
That was the only reason I wasn't a great footballer myself, mate, is I had shit coaches who didn't really know enough about it. So, that's why I do what I do now.
Mate,
That's why
I'm pretty
still
sure we
such a
brought up your
fanboy.
kicking ability in the past.
Yeah, it nearly caught on. It nearly caught on the helicopter, but nonetheless, mate. Yeah, I think that's a really important thing, and not just that tradition. You know, if some of the younger players could hear about the story, the epic story of beating regions that were just touted so far above ours, and just to wander up there as nobodies and win that particular year was incredible, and it's folklore now. And I don't know if you know, I've got to maybe get myself a bit more up to speed with where reps are this year. I know they've started training. Not sure where squads are. I don't even know if a men's coach has been announced yet, but it would be great to see a legend come in, someone with a bit of prestige, rather than a current coach just filling in because we don't have anyone else doing it. That sends the wrong message to players straight away, that if there's not somebody who wants to step up with a little bit of clout to come into that role, that straight away sets a good standard. Then a couple of big names attached to that, I think it'll be a flow-on effect from there. But the other thing is the structure of reps is, I don't know if it came through or not, but there was talks about it being a rep with South Coast, and then they pick a rep side from that to go and play against the Tasmanian Rep League or something like that. So there was talk about tiers of representative football at one stage. I hope there's been some follow-on with that. What there hasn't been follow-on with is Pete. It looks like he's dropped out. So back to me listening entirely to myself. We'll give Pete a little bit of time to see if he's going to join back in. But look, the long and short of it, while he isn't here, I'll tell you what the truth of it is. Pete is a very outspoken and very knowledgeable and respected member of the wider footy community, and has a lot to offer, as do a lot of these legends we're talking about. And part of the reason why I get him on tonight was I'm trying to talk him into coming in and doing a regular segment on the Friday night show called Van Dam It. And what I'd love for him to come and just unload and tell us what he reckons needs a little bit of work in local footy, not just here, but right across the board, because he'll say it how it is, and he'll make a hell of a lot of sense. But hopefully in that segment, we might be able to reach out and touch base with a few of the old legends from 10 and 20 years ago, names that are famous in their respective clubs and right across the land. So that'll be great. If any of you happen to be watching right now, I've got my eye on you, and would love to get you involved with the show in some capacity. I think what you guys might be able to continue to offer and are continuing to offer is invaluable in terms of us wanting to move forward. So, Pete, I'm going to take that as a yes. You're locked in for a regular segment called Van Dam It. And I can't wait to chat with you again next week. And I want to hear if you're going to end up having any involvement with representative football. Could you imagine if we could get, a forward coach, a midfield coach, a defensive coach, a fitness coach, whatever it might be, and they were all former representative players that have had some success? Would be great. Here he is. He's back.
Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah.
That's
my
all right,
brother
mate.
kept
No
calling
worries.
me,
I thought
mate,
I
and my
said
phone
something
just
to
dropped out.
offend you.
No,
I
no,
thought I
no,
said
not at
something to
all. Not at
offend you,
all.
but then I realised you're the one who usually offends. So
100%, mate. Hold off for Ducks back.
Mate, I was just telling the viewers my little secret plan here was actually to try and get you excited enough about football that I might propose to you a regular segment on our Friday night mixed grill show where we get Pete Van Dam, the famous Peter Van Dam, and we call your segment the Van Dam It. And basically, we just give you the microphone to unload on any of the things that you know or see in local footy that might need a little bit of Van Dam treatment. So if you're keen on doing that, mate, we'll
Have you got a
we're
good
getting
lawyer,
close to
Corey? Because I
winding it
might upset a few people, mate. I've got to.
Mate,
You
just
would have
before
a
we
good
do
lawyer.
wind up tonight, mate, I've got a terrible lawyer. You can ask my two former partners how good my lawyers were, so they've done very well out of it. That's why I've got a budget backdrop here, mate, made out of pallets that only goes that high.
Yeah.
It's not a real studio. Mate,
Yeah.
just before we go, Flint, I know you've got Flinty close by there. The next Van Dam that will be making a mark in local footy, no doubt, and he's already. But your other son, Archie, is making a bit of headlines on social media lately with a little campaign or a little awareness process or campaign that you've got going on. I see he's got an incredible set of wheels. and all your social media of late is indicating a comeback to football by Peter Van Dam for sure. He's covering some ground.
There's no comeback. There's no comeback. I gotta keep the body in good nick so that I can look after him. No, it's
Yeah, good
well,
man.
there's no campaign. The past weekend, Jason and I pushed Archie in the Newcastle Marathon, so we did a little fundraiser for an
no.
organisation called the Build Corp Foundation. I work for Build Corp, and I approached them to buy to get on board and sort of get behind Archie and buy this jogging chair for him, and they did that. They put their hand in their pocket and just purchased there's like a $12,000 wheelchair that you can sort of convert into a bike trailer as well, so we can get him out there, and it's a game changer for us because we're an outdoors family, and you know, the way I look at it, Archie didn't ask to be born that way, so we do our best to just get him out there all the time and get him amongst it. So having the wheelchair that we can get him sort of all terrain, it makes it so much easier due to, you know, as you know,
Yeah.
some of the infrastructure at local sporting facilities is a bit substandard, which
Yeah.
could probably be one of my first rants, but we'll wait for another time, eh? And,
Mate, you know
yeah.
what? We've got one segment every week, so save them up, jot them down, and make sure you list them out, mate, because we'll cover all of them. Mate, looking at Archie in the photos, he looks like he just loves it. He looks so vibrant when he's inside the what do you call it? Is it a buggy?
Oh, I just call it his racing chair. I don't know. We're just, you know, we're going to
Yeah,
try
racing
and,
chair.
you know, just his racing chair. We just try and he's got a wheelchair that we transport him in the van that we've got for him. You know, that probably some of the footy community contributed to in the past. A lot of the footy contributed to, you know, various clubs, or most of the clubs in the league contributed to back in the day when we had a fundraiser for him. And Jason Crookall, one of the, you know, ex-AFL umpire, probably baked him more times than probably necessary,
we know
but
Jason.
he jumped right on board and had a massive push to get behind that. He does so much good for so many people that you wouldn't even know. So, yeah, shout out to Jason
he
Crookall.
does.
I haven't seen him
He's
for
a
a
bit of an
while.
unsung hero like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
shout
definitely.
out to
So,
Jason Crookall.
no,
Cookie, if you're out there, he
yeah. So no, we there'll be a few more things. We'll try and just create awareness. And I guess the biggest problem with, you know, especially kids with special needs these days is that it's a lack of education to others. You know, there's it's about educating others instead of just standing back staring, and, you know, or being more spatially aware. Someone pushing a wheelchair or someone with a cane. You know, I think that we're starting to lose that. You know, a little bit of well, I don't know what the word is, but it's just
consideration,
respect
mate.
for
It's
others,
just
maybe.
basic.
Yeah, it's a respect
Yeah,
for others,
we're
and you know, we should be looking at helping those that are less fortunate than us more than just pushing them to the side. So that's where I'm sort of with that, and obviously it's close to my heart. So yeah, I've got the voice to probably get out there and do a little bit more than most. So that's where that's at the moment.
all right, mate. Well, if there's plans for that, more marathons in the future, let's cover that each week. We'll keep that close in the vision, because that's a beautiful story there, mate. And I know, mate, you're an amazing family and amazing a group of people that get around and make that happen, mate. So if we can get the wider footy community to get on board with whatever bits and pieces you got going on, mate, then let's do that. But not before you get to, you know, absolutely roast whatever needs roasting in local footy. I think that's going to be the priority.
You just keep prodding me to
Mate,
say something that's going to come back to hammer me. I'm trying to be a nice guy.
No, mate. Look, I'm both the agitator and also your first line of defence too, mate. So at the end of the day, I can edit this. So if there's anything too questionable, mate, I'll keep you safe.
It's all
Don't
good,
worry.
mate.
I am going to
wouldn't say
call
anything
it
I
at
didn't
that,
stand
mate.
behind.
Would you join me again next week, mate? I'd love to have you on as a regular. We don't have to talk quite this long every time, but if we have a good 10 or 20-minute segment, I think we're either going to bring him in or we're going to shoo him away. But either way, mate, we get to have a good chat every week, so it would be worth it.
100%, mate. I'll do anything to, you know, bring eyeballs or ears or whatever it is to help promote football in our league, because it's something that's given a lot to me over the past, and I want to see it given to generations in the future. Like, there's nothing wrong with playing 20 years of good level bush footy. It'll give you more than you know, life experiences than sitting at home playing iPads. I'll put it that way. So,
oh, mate,
anyway,
lifelong
gripe for
friends
another
and
week.
unforgettable memories. Lifelong friends and unforgettable memories. I always say playing footy actually saves lives, and not, anyone who doesn't believe that hasn't played much footy, I think. Mate, absolutely love you to bits. Thanks so much for joining me. Peter Van Dam, ladies and gentlemen. What probably my first agreed regular. Oh, actually, you're not. You're second
Yeah.
behind Andy Baldwin, but he agreed 3 years ago, so
Oh.
don't worry. Thanks for joining me, mate.
All right.
Go enjoy your
Too easy,
Friday
mate.
evening, mate, and we'll see you next week and see what the update is. See if you
Yeah,
come on as rep
done.
coach or something.
Thanks for having me. Please. See you, mate. Bye.
See you, mate.
Bye.